call this meeting to order. Welcome to meeting, it can't be number 48 now, that was Thursday, I think. Anyways, this meeting of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Finance. Pursuant to the order of reference of Tuesday, May 26, 2026, and the motion adopted by the committee on Thursday, May 7th, 2026, and the motion adopted by the House on Monday, June 15th, 2026, the committee will resume consideration of Bill C-30, an act to implement certain provisions of the Spring Economic Update tabled in Parliament on April 28th, 2026. Does anyone need me to read the motion? No, we're good. Okay. Then I would like to welcome our witnesses back to committee. Members have a list of the departmental officials that are here for whom they can ask technical questions. Before we get started, I'd like to do one item of committee business. Committee members received a supplementary budget request regarding the study of Bill C-30. The amount requested is $1,000. Is it the pleasure of the committee to adopt this supplementary budget? Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so with that, yes, Mr. Turnbull.
So one quick question, and then I'd like to seek unanimous consent to give my colleague Elizabeth May, who's been waiting patiently. But before we get to that, I just wanted to ask a clarifying question as to how so we have roughly 23 minutes until 9:30, at which time all questions will be posed, right? I understand the Conservatives may have a suggestion as well, so maybe we can deal with that up front here. But there's a couple of clauses that were stayed, where there was Conservative amendments, and we sort of said so I don't know whether we're going to start on those or whether we're going to go from the place we left off. So just a point of clarification.
Yeah, we would go from the place we left off in chronological order, and then we'll get to the last ones at the end.
Seek unanimous consent to allow my colleague Elizabeth May some time to speak to some of her concerns and to introduce her amendments. I think there was consent from all parties previously, so I'm hoping I'll get my colleague's support on that.
Yeah, thanks. Do we have unanimous consent? Okay, Ms. May, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to start by thanking all members of this committee for allowing me to speak now. In the normal course of things, without the programming motion, my amendments would come up in order, and my first amendment occurs at Clause 52. I have 8 amendments. They speak specifically and only to Division 8 of C-30 that relates to pesticides. So
I'll start at the beginning, and I want to thank my colleague from Mirabel for the Bloc Québécois, and another Bloc member as well, who had raised some of the same concerns in the House. The members for Rimouski, La Matapédia.
Our help, and also as we sit around this table, to Jazz, to everybody, obviously to Ryan, to you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity for me to, outside the normal programming motion, have time to speak to my concerns. Given that this bill, C-30, is this implementation bill for the Spring Economic Statement, the only line in the Spring Economic Statement that relates to Division 8 are these simple lines on page 96. Announces the government's intention to amend the Canadian Food Inspection Agency Act and the Pest Control Products Act to include consideration of food security and cost of food. And I would submit, Madam Chair, if we'd had enough time in the House at the very beginning of this bill, should have moved to have this entire Division 8 removed as far beyond the scope of what was set out that we are now implementing. I recognize that most of C-30 does implement specific financial measures like excess tax and CPP and so on that are directly implementing what was in the Spring Economic Statement. But I submit to you and to all members of this committee, because as you may notice very quickly, this is a last-minute Hail Mary pass begging my colleagues to accept my amendments so that this wrong is not done. But the inclusion of something as significant and regressive as Division 8 in the course of an omnibus budget bill is something that I think the government will live to regret if they insist on continuing down this course of a massive change in pesticide regulation and placing economic considerations above human health, and environmental risks. Because there were no independent witnesses before committee, because it moved very quickly, I'm not blaming anyone in finance, but the Finance Committee, but this is, I'm speaking now on behalf of l'Association pour la santé publique du Québec, Victimes des pesticides du Québec, Breast Cancer Action Quebec, the Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment, the Canadian Biotechnology Action Network, the Canadian Environmental Law Association, the Canadian Partnership for Children's Health and the Environment, Canadians Children's Health Defence Canada, Council of Canadians Edmonton Chapter, the David Suzuki Foundation, Earth Education League, Eco Justice, Environmental Defense, Equiterre, Evidence for Democracy, Fondation Rivière, Les Amis de la Terre Canada, National Farmers Union, Nature Canada, Pesticide Free, Edmonton, Prevent Cancer Now, Quebec Environmental Law Centre, Safe Food Matters, the Saskatchewan Network for Alternatives to Pesticides, Vigilance OGM, and West Coast Environmental Law. Who am I to say I can speak for these people? I do, because they submitted briefs, but their words were not heard before the Finance Committee, because I submit again review of C30 and Division 8, both in the chamber itself, where we had this bill tabled on April 29th, and after 3 hours of debate, the time allocation motion came down May 25th. So I don't think anyone could say, feeling confident in their own personal integrity, that this section, Division 8, had anything like adequate time before the House itself and before it went on division to second reading to this table. I'm so grateful for this chance. I've written some of you to say that my background, and it's strange that I know I'm only 72 years old, but for 51 years I've worked on pesticide issues. I was briefly the chair of the Canadian, not a couple of years, but you know, when you're 72, it was brief. I was the chair of the environmental law subsection for the Canadian Bar Association, and I handled personally a number of pesticide cases in my career before politics. Briefly, to the committee then, why this is a substantial change and why it should be resisted, and then I'll describe my amendments as briefly as I can. In 1969, the Pest Control Products Act was passed in this country. It gave the regulation of pesticides being a category that includes insecticides, fungicides, rodenticides, and herbicides, to Agriculture Canada, pretty much exclusively, but with the Pest Management Regulatory Agency having to accept advice and sometimes vetoes from the Health Department. I won't go through step by step the different changes that occurred. The most significant change that occurred was when then Liberal leader Jean Chrétien put in the Liberal platform in 1993 that the Pest Control Products Act would be moved from Agriculture Canada over to Health Canada. That was done in 1995. With a lot of credit to someone who visited the chamber recently, former member of parliament, former l'ancien ministre de l'Environnement du Québec.
The former Environment Minister of Quebec, Clifford Lincoln.
Pour moi, un vrai héros. But Clifford Lincoln, who made the change that was in the Liberal Red Book to say that the Pest Management Regulatory Agency reports to the Minister of Health, and that human health would take a more prominent role in the review of pesticides. Another significant event, which I mentioned only because I think Division 8 of Bill C-30 will run into trouble in court, because in 2001, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled in the Hudson, Quebec case that the precautionary principle under which the little municipality of Hudson banned the use of cosmetic pesticides on lawns, and that was upheld by the Supreme Court of Canada, because the Supreme Court said that the precautionary principle was now fundamental to federal pesticide regulation and Canadian law in general. The precautionary principle can be summed up as look both ways before you cross the street. Again, briefly, I'll just say that we often hear from whoever's in charge of pesticides at the time, regardless of party, because they all have the same talking point that says Canada has the most rigorous pest management regime in the world. That's just nonsense. To this day, Richard Nixon's FIFRA, the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, is stronger and better constructed than Canadian pesticide regulation. So case in point, if I can find any reason that this has come forward in the guise of something to do with food costs and food security, it's the episode that occurred last year when the Pest Management Regulatory Agency, for the period of 1 month only, said it would not be okay to use liquid strychnine on farm fields in Alberta and Saskatchewan to deal with ground squirrels, also known as gophers. It was 1 month. The industry appealed. PMRA granted them the appeal with careful conditions because, as you can imagine, liquid strychnine is rather dangerous to be used in any uncontrolled environment. In any case, it seems that that may have given impetus to this quite wrong-headed idea that the federal cabinet should, as is described here in our Division 8 of Bill C-30, allow the federal cabinet to overturn a decision by a minister. So this is, again, in C-30. This is Section 28, sub 1, that the minister does not consider the environmental risk of acceptable. The governor and council may, by order, amend the registration if the governor and council considers it necessary to do so to protect national economic security, regional economic security, or national food security. Again, there are many things wrong with this, including that the timelines provided would allow extensions that would mean that something like liquid strychnine in an emergency consideration could be used for up to 9 years before being reviewed. Whoever drafted this section of C-30 wasn't considering the implications for human health or the environment or even the economy at all. So some of the evidence we would have heard had we had witnesses here is that the excessive, in terms of the European Union, Canadians need to diversify markets. Our farmers don't need their products to be rejected because of excessive pesticide use. But lentils from Canada have been rejected from a number of EU countries because we allow more glyphosate, trade name Roundup, than the EU will allow. So we've had crops rejected at the border. We don't need this. We need to work in harmony with allies, particularly within the European Union, to make sure that Canadian food exports don't face rejection at the borders. In any case, the groups I've mentioned have told me that as much as my amendments may improve things, they actually think it would be far preferable to, even to my amendments, would be, if all of them were accepted, they still think it would be the preferable course to delete Division 8 altogether. Nevertheless, with the assistance, I do want to thank the environmental law group EcoJustice for their assistance. And my team, and I particularly thank Steve Parkinson, who is a very hard worker. He worked till 2 in the morning to make sure we could get these in by the deadline created by the motion that allows me to be here at all. And I know the clock is ticking. But the amendments, my first amendment speaks to the fact that C-30 doesn't define in saying that the cabinet can overturn a minister. It uses terms like national economic security, national food security, but without defining them and without providing any requirement for evidence or research or any kind of independent panel to review what the cabinet is doing, which appears to be a permission to overturn a decision that is reasoned and based on evidence with one that is purely political discretion. So my first amendment, amending line 4 at clause, and I won't go through these in great detail because I know time is ticking, and I'm so grateful for all this time to the Bloc and the Conservatives. If anyone's watching this, I would not be able to do this without the Conservative Party members here, each and every one of them, and the Bloc member here at the table, and all the Liberals here at the table. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for at least allowing me to present these, and I really hope you'll find it in your hearts to carry at least some of them. I should mention that my colleague and friend Stephen Guilbeault, I know he has a number of amendments here that speak to the issue of transparency. Those amendments, if accepted, will not deal with the problem created, the real offense to the precautionary principle, the notion that this government cares more about human health and the environment than it does about brief economic pressures from lobbyists. But my First Amendment attempts to define national economic security to include long-term sustainability and not to create unacceptable risks to human health and the environment. So I won't go through each definition, but the First Amendment is to create definitions around terms that are used to justify overturning a decision to say a pesticide is too dangerous to be used by the agency in charge. The Second Amendment adds again that the cabinet can only overturn a decision of a minister if the minister agrees that the risks to human health and or from the use of that product are non-negotiable. You can't change the decision if the minister has decided that really the human health risks are unacceptable. Again, my Third Amendment speaks to, again, if the minister, the cabinet must not make an order to overturn a decision if the minister responsible has determined that the health risks or the combined health and environmental risks are not acceptable. Second consideration, that the pest control product does not have sufficient value for the control of the infestation. And another thing that must be considered in decisions like this that isn't mentioned in C30 is, are reasonable alternatives available? Is there another way to handle this emergency that requires, for instance, again, back to the prairie gophers, is there another reasonable alternative available? Rather ironically, the reason that the prairie gophers have become so much more prevalent and destructive is what are described in all the government documents as abnormally dry conditions. In other words, climate crisis and persistent drought. On my Fourth Amendment is that specifically emergency orders must not have extensions. It would limit the emergency order to 1 year and no extensions, because currently, as I mentioned briefly earlier, the 3-year duration in the bill is extendable by another 3 years, and then followed by a phase-out period, so that the prolonged use of a product that has been determined by the minister responsible as unacceptable by cabinet override could allow the products to be continued to be used for up to 9 years. The Fifth Amendment I have, again, speaks to questions of not, this one I've removed, so pardon me for returning to it because we replaced it with another one with consent of the clerk, so I'll just move back to the Sixth Amendment, replacing lines 7 and 8 on page 31, to change it from the minister must not allow the product to be used if it is unsafe. And without this amendment, again, public confidence will be undermined and regulatory decisions will have no effect. I think one of the ones that if I were picking one, and I can't really do that, that's not, they come as a package, but if someone felt on the Liberal benches that what was the one thing that might make this less appalling, it would be this one, partie vers 7, parce que le projet de loi c'est 30 à l'article.
That Bill C30 in Clause 57 be amended by replacing lines 32 to 38 on page 32 with the following. Then 1 year after the day on which the order comes into force and is not to be extended. If the minister has concluded that the environmental risks are unacceptable, and if the pesticides are of an insufficient value to protect large-scale or regional economic considerations, and finally, if reasonable alternatives are available.
I'm not going to speak to whether I have more amendments, but just to please plead with my friends across the way. In the 51 years I've worked on pesticides in this country, this is the single most regressive proposal I've ever seen. Stephen Harper's government never touched toxic chemicals. It did, I will say that the Harper administration did massive damage to environmental impact assessment law and Fisheries Act, but those were repaired subsequently. But nobody's ever in any government of any political stripe, in my experience, ever proposed anything as appalling as this. So I beg my colleagues around the table, I know that I've had the great generosity of time. I'm deeply, deeply grateful. But again, trade implications, our products could be rejected again, over and over again. So even looking just at the economics of this, whoever drafted this didn't look at the facts. They didn't look at the economics. They certainly didn't look at the environmental risks, and they didn't consider that pesticides, the Canadian Cancer Society has been clear for years that pesticides carry risks depending on the pesticide. And what kind of economic argument is used? Just, I recall this one because I was in the Mulroney government as an advisor, and I'd been the lawyer for Friends of the Earth in the Alachlor case. The moment that Monsanto's economic argument for why their carcinogenic herbicide Alachlor must not be banned, and the agriculture minister at the time was prepared to accept this argument, it would be unfair to ban Alachlor, Monsanto, and Agriculture Canada said, because its next closest competitor also caused cancer. It took Jake Epp, as former Minister of Health, to say, I'm sorry, I'd have to stand up in the House of Commons after the Minister of Agriculture licenses this product, and if asked, I will say this product, this herbicide Alachlor, causes cancer. The economic arguments at the time were seen to override Jake Epp's argument. Fortunately, Cabinet didn't buy it, but I don't see any criteria in C30 that would prevent a carcinogenic, known carcinogen to continue to be used in dangerous and certainly risky circumstances with no economic case having to be made. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, my colleagues. Again, I'm pleading with you, particularly the Liberal members in this place, Conservative members. I know the Bloc Québécois is supporting my position, and I'm deeply grateful. As if we had NDP members at the table, but of course, they're not recognized party, and I'm grateful that me as a representative of an unrecognized party was given this latitude. Thank you again, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. May. Mr. Halan?
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to, I don't know if it's, I have to seek unanimous consent to pull our amendments. No, we'll just pull our amendments then. Yeah.
Okay, so all conservative amendments are pulled?
Correct.
Correct. Including the ones that we stayed earlier? Okay, all right. Okay, so not seeing anyone else on the speakers list, then we will continue on with clause 44. Okay, clause 44. So shall clause 44 carry? Okay, on division, clause 44 carried on division. Shall clause 45 carry? Okay, we'll take a vote on clause 45.
Is on clause 45. Mr. Turnbull.
Oui.
Mr. Leteo.
Pour.
Mr. Wheeler.
Pour.
Mr. McDonald.
Yay.
Dr. Martin.
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie.
Pour.
Mr. Halan.
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta.
Yes.
Madame Campana.
Yes.
Mr. Lefebvre.
Pour.
Mr. Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, nays contre 1.
Okay, clause 45 carries. Shall clause 46 carry? Okay, a vote for clause 46.
6, Mr. Turnbull.
Yay.
Mr. Leteo.
Pour.
Mr. Wheeler.
It's Mr. Weiler, but
Weiler.
yay.
Thank you very much. Mr. McDonald.
Yay.
Dr. Martin.
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie.
Pour.
Mr. Halan.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Mr.
Mr. Van
Kelly
Popta.
would probably vote yes if you were here, but Mr.
Van
Van Popta
Popta.
will vote.
Madame Campana.
Yes.
Mr. Lefebvre.
Pour.
Mr. Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, nays contre 1.
Clause 46. Clause 46 carries. Shall clause 47 carry?
No.
Do you want to vote? Okay, a vote on clause 47?
Mr. Turnbull.
Oui.
Mr. Leteo.
Pour.
Mr. Weiler.
Oui.
Mr. McDonald.
Yay.
Dr. Martin.
Oui.
Mr. Lavoie.
Oui.
Mr. Halan.
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Oui.
Madame Cobana,
Oui.
Monsieur Lefebvre,
Oui.
Monsieur Garand.
Non.
Yeas pour 10, nays contre 1.
Clause 47 carries. Oui, Monsieur Garand?
Je voulais demander.
I wanted to ask for votes for all the rest of Part 3, but I mean, if we can apply them through Clause 51, that would work. No, because there's an amendment to Clause 51. Oh, okay. Well, could we at least do 48, 49, 47, 48, 49, if we can apply them?
UC to group clauses 48 and 49? Yeah, okay, shall they pass? Then you have to do them individually. What? We've already grouped them.
On les groupe et on les vote.
So we can group them together and then vote on them? Like one vote for those, all of those?
Practice to do that, but so normally, si vous voulez une vote, on va le faire un pour.
Normally, if you want to vote, we do them individually, not as a group. But, we can do it this time.
Clauses 48 and 49 carry. We'll go to a vote.
Pour.
Mr. Leteau,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Yay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Oui.
Mr. Lavoie,
Oui.
Mr. Lalonde,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Pour.
Madame Cobana,
Oui.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, nays contre 1.
Okay, clause 48 and 49 carry. On to clause 50, shall Liberal Amendment 1 carry? Okay, carried on division. Shall Liberal Amendment 2 carry? Carried on division. Shall clause 50 as amended carry? Carried on division. Shall clause 51 carry? Okay, we'll take a vote on clause 51.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leteau,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Ms. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Oui.
Ms. Lavoie,
Oui.
Mr. Lalonde,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Oui.
Madame Cobana,
Oui.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Oui.
Monsieur Garand.
Non.
Yeas pour 10, nays contre 1.
Thank you. Clause 51 carries. Clause 52, shall Green Party Amendment 1 carry? So we'll take a vote.
Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leteau,
Nay.
Mr. Weiler,
Contre.
Mr. McDonald,
Nay.
Dr. Martin,
Contre.
Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Lalonde,
No.
Mr. Van Popta, Madame Cobana,
Contre.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Mr. Garand. Yeas pour 1, nays contre 10.
Thank you. Green Party 1 does not carry. Shall Clause 52 carry? Okay, for a vote.
52. Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leteau,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Lalonde,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Oui.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Oui.
Monsieur Garand. Yeas pour 10, nays contre 1.
Okay, Clause 52 carry. On to Clause 53, shall Green Party Amendment 2 carry?
The vote is on PV2.
Yeah.
Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leteau,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Contre.
Mr. McDonald,
Nay.
Dr. Martin,
Contre.
Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Lalonde,
No.
Mr. Van Popta,
No.
Madame Cobana,
Contre.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Mr. Garand.
Pour.
Yeas pour 1, nays contre 10.
Thank you. Green Party Amendment 2 does not carry. Shall Clause 53 carry? Okay, a vote on Clause 53.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Yep.
Mr. Weiler,
Yay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Hallan,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre, Mr. Garand.
Non.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Clause 53 carries. Moving on to Clause 54, does Green Party Amendment 3 carry? Okay, a recorded vote.
The votes on PV3, Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leitao,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Contre.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Contre.
Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Lon,
No.
Mr. Van Popta,
Contre.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Mr. Garand.
Oui.
Yeas pour 1, 1, nays contre 10, 10.
Okay, Parti Vert 3 does not carry. Shall Green Party Amendment 4 carry? Okay, a vote.
Votes on PV4, Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leitao,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Nay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Nay.
Ms. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Hallan,
Yes. Sorry, we're on.
PV4,
No, oppose.
Mr. Van Popta,
Contre.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre, Mr. Garand.
Oui.
Yeas pour 1, 1, nays contre 10, 10.
Okay, Green Party Amendment 4 does not carry. Shall Liberal Amendment 3 carry?
PV5?
No?
It was withdrawn. Sorry, Chair.
Shall Lib 3 carry?
Oui.
Carried on division? Okay. Shall Liberal Amendment 4 carry? Carried on division. Shall Clause 54 carry as amended? Okay, we'll take a vote on that, please.
The vote is on Clause 54. Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Ms. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Hallan,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Pour.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Mr. Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Okay, Clause 54 carries as amended. Shall Clause 55 carry? Carried on division? No, we'd like a vote. Okay. Recorded division?
Vote is on Clause 55. Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Yay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Oui.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Hallan,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana,
Pour.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Mr. Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Clause 55 carries. Clause 56, shall Green, no, yeah, shall Green Party Amendment 6 carry? A vote, please.
The vote is on PV6. Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leitao,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Contre.
Mr. McDonald, Dr. Martin, Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Hallan,
No.
Mr. Van Popta,
No.
Madame Cobana, Ms. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Mr. Garand.
Pour.
Yeas pour 1, 1, nays contre 10, 10.
Green Party Amendment 6 does not pass. Shall Clause 56 carry? We'll take a vote.
The vote is on Clause 56. Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Hallan,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Mr. Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Thank you. Clause 56 carries. Clause 57, shall Green Party Amendment 7 carry? Okay, we'll take a vote.
Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leteo,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Contre.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Contre.
Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Hallan,
No.
Mr. Van Popta,
No.
Madame Cobana,
Contre.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Mr. Garron.
Pour.
Yeas pour 1, nays contre 10.
Green Party Amendment 7 does not carry. Shall Clause 57 carry? Oh, sorry, missed that one. Sorry, we have to go back. Chair's error. Shall Green Party Amendment 7.1 carry? Okay, we'll take a vote.
Mr. Turnbull,
Sorry.
PV
7.1, I
7.1.
don't have.
7.1?
I don't see it even on the agenda.
Does everyone else have Green Party 7.1? No? We're going to take a brief moment then and circulate it to the members, please? Yeah.
And plus.
Seven point one, and have had a chance to read it. Are we good to carry on with the vote? Okay, great. Okay, so shall 7.1 carry? Okay, a recorded division.
Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leteo,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Nay.
Mr. McDonald,
Nay.
Dr. Martin,
Nay.
Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Hallan,
No.
Mr. Van Popta,
No.
Madame Cobana,
Contre.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Mr. Garron.
Je vote 10 fois pour.
Yeas pour 1, nays contre 10.
Thank you. Green Party Amendment 7.1 does not carry. Shall Clause 57 carry? Okay, we'll take a vote on Clause 57.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leteo,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Yay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin, Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garand. Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Clause 57 carries. Shall Clause 58 carry? A recorded vote on Clause 58.
Mr. Tr-
Oui.
Mr. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin, Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta, Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garand.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Thank you. Clause 58 carries. Moving on to Clause 59. Shall Green Party Amendment 8 carry? Okay, recorded division.
Mr. Turnbull,
Nay.
Mr. Leitao,
Contre.
Mr. Weiler,
Contre.
Mr. McDonald,
Nay.
Dr. Martin,
Contre.
Mr. Lavoie,
Contre.
Mr. Holland,
No.
Mr. Van Popta,
No.
Madame Cobana,
Contre.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Contre.
Monsieur Garand.
Pour.
Yeas pour 1, 1, nays contre 10, 10.
Green Party Amendment does not carry. Shall Clause 59 carry? A recorded vote on Clause 59.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Ms. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Yay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garand.
Non.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Clause 59 carries. Shall Clause 60 carry? A recorded vote on Clause 60.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin, Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana, Mr. Lefebvre, Monsieur Garand. Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1, 1.
Thank you. Clause 60 carries. Shall Clause 61 carry? No?
A new clause?
Oh, sorry. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so shall Clause 2 carry?
Move back to the
Back to the
beginning?
beginning.
Oui. As unamended, Chair?
Yes, because the amendments were withdrawn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oui.
Oh, on division? Carried on division. Shall Clause 6 carry?
Oui.
Carried on division. Okay. Shall Clause 7 carry? Carried on division. Shall the short title carry? On division. You want to vote on the short title? Okay. Why not? We've gotten this far. A vote on the short title.
Mr. Turnbull,
Oui.
Mr. Leitao,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Oui.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin.
Oui.
Oh, can you repeat that, Dr. Martin?
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana,
Yes.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garand.
Abstention.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 0.
Okay, the short title carries. Shall the title carry? Okay, we'll do a vote. Yeah, might as well.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Yes.
Mr. Weiler,
Pour.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Oui.
Madame Cobana,
Oui.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garand.
Abstention.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 0.
And that, yeah, okay. The title carries. Shall the bill as amended carry?
Oui, oui.
On division?
Oui, oui.
On
Vote,
division.
non, non, on va voter.
Oh, you want to vote?
Ah,
Okay.
oui.
A vote on the bill as amended.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Mr. Leitao,
Oui.
Mr. Weiler,
Oui.
Mr. McDonald, Dr. Martin,
Oui.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana, oui. Ms. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garon.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1.
Merci. Okay, so the bill as amended carries. Shall the chair report the bill as amended to the House? We'll take a vote on that.
Mr. Turnbull,
Yay.
Ms. Leteo,
Pour.
Mr. Weiler,
Oui.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana,
Yes.
Ms. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Monsieur Garon.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1.
Okay, it carries. I will report the bill as amended to the House. Shall the committee order a reprint of the bill as amended for the use of the House at report stage? A vote on that, please.
Mr. Turnbull,
Pour.
Ms. Leteo,
Oui.
Mr. Weiler,
Yeah.
Mr. McDonald,
Yay.
Dr. Martin,
Pour.
Mr. Lavoie,
Pour.
Mr. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Van Popta,
Yes.
Madame Cobana,
Oui.
Ms. Lefebvre,
Pour.
Mr. Garon.
Contre.
Yeas pour 10, 10, nays contre 1.
Okay, thank you very much. That carries, and we will order a reprint of the bill as amended to present in the House. Colleagues, thank you very much. It's been wonderful to spend so much time with you, particularly over the last week, but I hope everybody has a lovely summer. And one final reminder that recommendations for the pre-budget consultations in advance of the 2026 budget must be submitted to the committee clerks by Friday, July 3rd, 2026. And with that, is it the will of the committee to adjourn? A vote. Okay, everybody have a great summer.
Thank